The Pacific Ocean, vast, merciless. It stretches over 63 million square miles, covering more than a third of the Earth's surface. This immense body of water holds countless secrets, some beautiful, others terrifying. It is a place where nature's raw power is on full display, and where the line between life and death is often razor thin.
A place of beauty and terror. The ocean's surface can be serene, a mirror reflecting the sky, or it can be a raging tempest with waves towering like mountains. But the true mysteries lie beneath, in the dark, cold depths where sunlight never penetrates.
Beneath the surface, a predator lurked. In these shadowy depths, where the pressure is immense and the temperature frigid, life has adapted in extraordinary ways. Among these adaptations is the Silent Hunter, a submarine that moves with the stealth of a ghost.
A Chinese Type 095 submarine, silent and deadly. This state-of-the-art vessel is a marvel of modern engineering designed to operate undetected in the vast expanse of the ocean. Its sleek, hydrodynamic shape allows it to glide through the water with minimal resistance, making it nearly invisible to enemy sonar.
Armed with advanced torpedoes and guided missiles, it was a ghost in the deep. These weapons are capable of striking targets with pinpoint accuracy, even from great distances. The submarine's arsenal includes torpedoes that can travel at incredible speeds, and missiles that can be launched from beneath the waves to strike targets on land or at sea.
Its mission, to track and monitor the movements of a U.S. Navy carrier group. This carrier group, a formidable force in its own right, represents a significant strategic asset. The submarine's task is to gather intelligence, to observe without being seen, and to be ready to strike if necessary.
The submarine's crew was tense, their eyes glued to sonar screens. These men and women are highly trained, their senses attuned to the slightest changes in their environment. They know that their lives and the success of their mission depend on their ability to remain undetected.
They were the hunters, the unseen observers in a high-stakes game of cat and mouse. Every move they make is calculated, every decision weighed carefully. They must anticipate the actions of their adversaries and stay one step ahead at all times. Every blip on their instruments, every change in the water pressure could signal the start of a conflict that neither side truly desired. The tension is palpable, the stakes incredibly high. In the silent depths of the ocean, the silent hunter waits, ever vigilant, ever ready.
The USS Ronald Reagan, a Nimitz-class supercarrier, cut through the waves. A symbol of American naval might, surrounded by its escort ships, cruisers, destroyers.
Aegis combat system online, a shield of sophisticated radar and missiles. On board, fighter jets stood ready in the hangar, their pilots briefed and prepared for any eventuality.
The carrier group was on a routine patrol, a show of force in the region. Deep within the bowels of the destroyer USS John Paul Jones, sonar operator Petty Officer 2nd Class Maria Ramirez stared intently at her screen.
An anomaly, a faint echo. It was a sound that sent a chill down her spine. Captain, we have a possible submarine contact bearing 295.
The captain, a seasoned veteran, immediately went on high alert. Run a classification analysis. Notify the carrier group. Battle stations, I repeat, battle stations.
The game was afoot. A Chinese submarine in these waters could mean only one thing: trouble.
The hunt was on. The U.S. Navy ships deployed their most advanced sonar equipment, trying to pinpoint the submarine's location.
The Chinese submarine, aware that it had been detected, dove deeper, maneuvering silently through the underwater canyons. It was a deadly game of hide-and-seek, each side trying to outmaneuver the other. Chinese submarine banked on stealth and cunning. Every move was calculated, every decision carrying the weight of potential conflict.
Days turned into nights. The tension on both sides was palpable. The U.S. Navy carrier group continued its patrols, its aircraft conducting reconnaissance flights over the area. The Chinese submarine remained submerged, a constant shadow, waiting for its moment.
The world watched with bated breath. News channels ran non-stop coverage, experts speculating on the potential for escalation. Diplomatic channels buzzed with activity as both nations engaged in a war of words, each accusing the other of provocation.
On board the USS Ronald Reagan, Admiral Thomas Andrews, the task force commander, paced the bridge. His eyes scanned the horizon, searching for any sign of the enemy. The tension in the air was palpable, a silent testament to the gravity of the situation.
This was more than just a game of cat and mouse. It was a strategic chess match where every move could have dire consequences. The admiral knew that the slightest error could lead to catastrophic results. The enemy was cunning, always lurking just out of sight, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The stakes were higher than they had ever been, and the margin for error was razor-thin. This was a dangerous dance on the edge of a razor. The tension was so thick it could be cut with a knife. Every decision, every command had to be precise. There was no room for hesitation, no time for second-guessing. The admiral's mind raced as he considered the possible outcomes of each action. He knew that one wrong move could tip the balance and send them spiraling into chaos.
A single miscalculation, a misunderstanding could spiral into a full-blown conflict. He knew the stakes. The lives of his crew, the stability of the region, and perhaps even the fate of the world rested on his shoulders. The weight of this responsibility was almost overwhelming, but he couldn't afford to show any sign of weakness. His crew looked to him for guidance, and he had to be the rock they needed in the storm. He had to navigate this treacherous situation with the utmost care, balancing strength with diplomacy.
The lives of his crew, the stability of the region, perhaps even the fate of the world rested on his next decision. Every sailor on the USS Ronald Reagan was counting on him to make the right call. The weight of their expectations was heavy, but it also gave him strength. He knew that he wasn't alone in this fight. His crew was a well-oiled machine, each member playing a crucial part in their mission. Together, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead, united in their resolve to protect their nation and maintain peace.
The Chinese submarine, running low on fuel and supplies, was forced to surface.
It was a calculated risk, a show of force designed to test the Americans' resolve. The USS John Paul Jones moved to intercept, its guns trained on the submarine.
The distance between the two vessels closed to a few hundred yards. The air crackled with tension.
Sailors on both sides stood at their stations, their faces grim, their fingers hovering near triggers and buttons.
After a tense standoff, lasting what felt like an eternity,
the Chinese submarine slowly submerged and moved away, escorted by a U.S. Navy destroyer. The crisis was averted for now.
Both sides had stared into the abyss and chosen to step back from the brink.
But the encounter left its mark. It was a stark reminder of the fragility of peace and the ever-present danger of miscalculation in the treacherous arena of international relations.
The world breathed a collective sigh of relief, but the specter of conflict still loomed large. It was a tense moment that could have escalated into a full-blown conflict, but fortunately, cooler heads prevailed. The incident forced both sides to reassess their strategies and consider the potential consequences of their actions. It was a stark reminder of the fragile nature of peace and the ever-present risk of miscalculation in international waters.
The ability to communicate clearly and effectively can mean the difference between peace and conflict. In this case, the communication channels between the two navies were put to the test, and the lessons learned from this incident have led to improved protocols and better training for naval personnel.
And the need for cool heads in moments of crisis. The ability to remain calm and composed under pressure is a vital skill for anyone in a position of leadership, especially in the military. The incident highlighted the importance of training and preparation, as well as the need for strong leadership in times of crisis. It also served as a reminder that even in the most challenging situations, it is possible to find a peaceful resolution if all parties are willing to work together.
The incident also highlighted the shifting balance of power in the Pacific. As nations continue to expand their naval capabilities and assert their influence in the region, the dynamics of power are constantly changing. This has led to increased tensions and the need for greater cooperation and dialogue among the nations involved. The standoff served as a reminder that the balance of power is delicate and must be carefully managed to avoid conflict.
Maintaining peace and stability requires constant effort and collaboration. The incident underscored the importance of diplomacy and the need for nations to work together to address common challenges. It also highlighted the role of international organizations and alliances in promoting peace and security.
It was a stark reminder that the future of global security depended on the ability of nations to manage their differences and find ways to coexist peacefully in an increasingly interconnected world.
As the world becomes more interconnected, the actions of one nation can have far-reaching consequences for others. The incident served as a reminder of the importance of working together to address global challenges and build a more peaceful and prosperous world for future generations.